This podcast will hopefully contain words or statements of obscene, pornographic, or immoral character. You have been warned.
Received dozens of emails from people that'll listen to the podcast. The podcast.
Wow.
The
Well,
podcast.
it is pretty much.
Woohoo! What is this? 60. Ooh, the dreaded. Well, is it dreaded? I don't think so. It's 69, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. 69 dudes.
Oh my God, where's Cooper when you need him? Be crying all the way to the bank.
Yeah, I guess if we were really on top of our shit, we would have had like a planned 69 special edition episode or something. But
That would have been awesome, but no,
Yeah.
we're not that sharp.
yeah, we're definitely not that sharp. Well, I hope everyone had a good Christmas and good holiday, whatever you're doing. But yeah.
Thank God it's almost all over.
Yeah, it is almost over. I know. It's kind of it. We were sort of every year we go through the sort of mindset of, are we even doing Christmas this year? Like, what is our level of caring about Christmas? And we like really weren't even going to do anything. And then sort of like 2 weeks ago, I had to go down to storage to get some shit, and I came across our Christmas box, which is small, but we have some like lights and a few decorations in there.
Nice
and I was like,
box.
yeah. So I was like, well, I'm like literally the box of Christmas shit's in my hand. So I guess I'll just take it to the house. So I set some stuff up and we did a couple small presents, but what we decided to do is we each got each other like a group present. So something we can both use. And then we each got each other just one sort of like, this is a gift for you. This is a gift for me kind of thing.
Right.
And yeah, it was cool. It was cool to just kind of do like a stripped down thing. And yeah, the one thing that we did on Christmas that was actually pretty cool, because I had actually never seen this before, and I was like kind of surprised I had never seen it. And I don't know if I maybe saw it back in the day and just don't remember, but we watched the Pee Wee Herman Christmas special, like the Pee Wee's Playhouse Christmas special.
I saw clips of it on Instagram, but I don't fucking remember that either.
Yeah, we watched the whole thing, and I didn't really remember anything from it, and it's actually really good. I was like, oh, this is going to be a new Christmas tradition. I think I'm going to start watching this every year because it's pretty funny, and I mean, it's definitely kid-based overall, but there's definitely a few little subtle adult things that go on. Like he drops some kind of like adult humor sort of jokes. Yeah, we were definitely cracking up. There's definitely some really funny stuff in that episode.
I thought we made it the whole way through Christmas without watching Christmas Vacation. And then we watched it Christmas morning after we were done. And I was making the panda cakes. I was a grill meister. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Two of them gone, boy.
Yeah, we got some like little kind of hors d'oeuvre snacky foods and just kind of ate multiple meals all day, just little small things here and there. And that was nice.
Sounds awesome.
And we watched the Tim and Eric Crimbus special.
I have no idea. I'm laughing because it sounds so fucking stupid, and I know they're stupid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's basically like they do this hour special where it's like a supposed to be like a telethon kind of thing. But the whole message of the special is like basically trying to get you to buy the DVD of the special that you're watching.
Oh my God. So awesome.
But other than that, we didn't really watch any Christmas movies at all this year. We typically watch A Christmas Story. We didn't watch that. We usually watch Christmas Vacation. We didn't watch that. We usually watch Elf, which we didn't watch. That's one of her favorites. So yeah, I don't know.
I have never seen that fucking movie.
You've never seen Elf? Oh,
No.
really? It's actually really good.
It seems painful. I like Will Ferrell, but that dosage of Will Ferrell, and it looked that stupid that I didn't know if I could deal with it.
I could see where someone would not like that movie.
And look, people, I like stupid movies. I'm all into Santa. What was it? Santa Jaws, I think is the one. Like, I want to watch that.
We saw the thing for that.
Like, that shit appeals to me. So don't get me wrong. I like stupid.
Yeah.
But like that one, it was just I don't know. There's something. I'll have to watch it.
I recommend it. Like I said, I could see where maybe depending on your type of sense of humor, like maybe that movie's not for you, but because it's definitely silly, but it's definitely got its moments where it's funny and it's cute and it's heartwarming, I guess. Yeah. But we did watch this movie. It was called oh my God, I can't think of the fucking name of it. But it's kind of like a pretty like budget movie. I think it was on Amazon Prime. It was sort of like this budget kind of movie, but it was the theme was that, or the plot of the movie was this guy like honestly, the plot of the movie was essentially like merging the original Halloween movie with the original Friday the 13th. Was like like pretty much the exact plot line. But it was actually really good. I mean, it was filmed like it seriously was like definitely filmed on a budget. But the movie itself was pretty cool. And like, so the guy gets out of an insane asylum and comes back to his hometown and he like gets into like a Santa costume. But it's like this weird kind of creepy Santa costume, and he like goes on this massive killing spree.
I'm looking to see if I can find it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to look it up right now because that pisses me off. I can't think of what it's called.
I have done a tear of old fucking movies. Like I watched like The Silver Bullet. I watched yesterday morning was 3 Days of the Condor. What else? We watched a couple other old ones. We did watch the what were supposed to be like the best. Okay, so I'm a dork and I like Bigfoot shows. So I watched all of the Expedition, whatever Bigfoot that was on that just came on Amazon or Discovery Plus. But like the one show I listened to, they dropped two of them that like Gavin and I had just randomly went over and found the one just because it's like tied in with the Blair Witch. It was called Exist.
Okay.
And then but they were like, before you watch that, you should watch Willow Creek, which is Bobcat Goldthwait had directed it and written it.
I may have seen that. That sounds familiar.
So he is nerd level fucking Bigfoot person. Because like all the lines from the main character and stuff is somebody who has sat and listened to Sasquatch Chronicles more than I have. Because I haven't delved past probably episode 500 and they're in the thousands now.
Jesus.
So like just the information and the shit he's blurting out through his dialogue, like you're like, oh my God, somebody's a fucking super nerd. Because it's just one of those. But I didn't think it was very fucking good. But it was But the Exist, like the IMDb rating on it was like 5.2 or something. And Gavin and I were like blown away on actually how good like when it started moving, it didn't stop moving. So it was an hour and a half of fucking like shit happening. And it didn't take long for shit to happen. It took like 5 minutes where Willow Creek took like the first 40, 45 minutes. You're like, all right, come on. Kind of like Blair Witch where you're waiting for shit to happen. The dude who was one of the writers for Blair Witch was the writer for Exist and directed it, I believe. And it was so fast paced. It was like, wow, this was really good. Then I watched a fucking another movie that was rated higher, and I was waiting because I wanted to go after to see if you remember this. I believe it was called "I Drink Your Blood," which was it was an old fucking like grindhouse movie. It's so fucking bad.
I thought that sounded familiar.
Yeah, it's like 71, 72. It was so fucking bad. And the fact that on IMDb it had a higher rating than the fucking movie we had just watched before that blew my mind. I'm like, how in the fuck is this? Even though we're talking 5.8 versus 5.2. How in the fuck where did the ratings come from? Because it was bad. It wasn't bad as how I prefer it to be bad in cheese. It was just like, I think they thought it was like more informational, or informational is not the right word, but they did this whole thing on rabies and all these weird things that if a person gets rabies, I'm like, dude, that's not fucking right. This is like 71 and the doctor's giving out all these things. And Gavin and I are like, what the fuck is he talking about? People with rabies are scared of water.
What?
So that, that's how they kind of controlled these zombies with, oh my God, it was so fucking bad.
That sounds ridiculous.
Oh my God. It was so fucking bad.
I don't usually pay attention to any type of reviews. Like if I want to watch a movie, I'm just going to watch it. Like Rotten Tomatoes is usually not very accurate at all. Like they've had movies ranked as like almost like a perfect movie, and you watch them like, this is fucking garbage. And then something that's like 10% is like the coolest thing I've seen in a while. So it's like,
yeah, and it's just because we all do it here because we try, because a lot of it's like, well, face recognition. You're like, where do I know that person from? So we're looking up as we're watching a movie, but it was just like, fuck. Because I will watch them because I've been questing for old Hammer movies that I can stream that I don't have to go out and fucking buy.
Mm-hmm.
But this one came up, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to listen to it or watch it. It was so bad. I can't believe Gavin made it through the whole thing with me.
That movie that I was talking about, I found it. It's called All Through the House.
All Through the House.
Yeah. And I honestly thought it was like pretty cool. I highly recommend it. If you're into sort of like budgety horror Christmas movies, add that one to your list.
I'm writing that shit down.
It was, like even like the makeup effects are pretty budgety for the most part, but the actual plot of the movie is interesting enough, and it's edited well, and it's worth checking out if you want like a creepy Santa killer movie.
My sister wants me to watch Violent Night.
Oh, that's really good.
But yeah, I haven't. She was fucking making me watch clips at Christmas or on Christmas Eve. She's like, it's so funny.
Yeah, it's good. We watched that. We actually watched that like 2 or 3 months back. We didn't watch it at Christmas time, but yeah, that one's really good. And actually a movie, we may have talked about this last year on here, I don't remember, but a movie we watched last Christmas that is actually really good too. It's called Mercy Christmas.
I don't know if we talked about that or not. I'm giving you the look.
That's a good one too. I kind of forget even exactly what it was about, but I remember really liking that one. But the main thing we were going to talk about today was my recap from the Vandals show, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. This is the fucking holiday special.
Yeah.
And you went as special as you could on a holiday.
We did. So we went to the Vandals Christmas Holiday Formal show that they do every year at Christmas. This was the 28th annual.
That's hard to believe.
Version of it. So yeah, we drove up. Traffic was not bad at all. We got up there in like record time. We got up there in about an hour, which is really nice.
It was the power of Saint Nick.
There was a lot. So the House of Blues in Anaheim is basically on the campus where Disneyland is, essentially. And Disneyland was, well, the street, I think it's just called Disney Way or whatever the main drag is that like runs through all the parks and stuff. Dude, there was so many fucking people up there. I'm just like, well, this is crazy that people are at Disneyland like for Christmas. I'm like, I guess that's probably like a big thing. People taking their kids there for Christmas weekend and stuff like that. But it was fucking packed, dude. There was people everywhere. And we got there, and it was cool because on the way up to the show, I hadn't really been like looking to see like exactly what was going on as far as who was doing what and all that stuff. But I was wondering if Josh Freese was going to be playing the show, because I was like, well, you know, who knows what he's fucking doing with Foo Fighters or whatever. Mm-hmm. And on the way up, he actually posted a picture from the stage there.
Oh, that's awesome.
He was like filming all their like Christmas decorations that they have set up on the stage and stuff. So I was like, well, that's cool. So he's obviously playing drums. So that was I was stoked on that. So we get there, and it was sold out for one thing. And the House of Blues of Anaheim it's pretty big. I would say it's probably definitely double the size of the House of Blues in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And that venue's pretty big. I'd say the House of Blues in San Diego, if I had to guess, I would say the capacity for that place is 600 to 800 people, maybe. And I would say the Anaheim one's probably like a 1,200 kind of thing.
Wow.
Or close to it. But anyway, it was sold out, and it was fucking packed in there. It was it's like one of those shows where really you can't even move around anywhere in there. Like the only places where you could get any kind of relief of just being like boxed in is like if you went out in like the main lobby to where the bathrooms were and like where the merch and stuff was. But even the merch line was like wrapped around like 4 times of like around like the fucking barrier things nuts. Or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, there's no fucking merch at this show that I want bad enough to fucking stand in that line. There's like no way that's happening.
You never know. You should have done it, and it might have ended up like our Duran Duran experience, where we ended up in the 3rd row because somebody felt bad that we were in the nosebleeds. But you didn't have none.
It's basically all standing room there. Yeah, there is a section in the back where it's sort of like a VIP section where it's like a mid-tier kind of standing balcony, like above everybody. So that's extra. And then they have like a top balcony, and I'm sure that's super expensive. But we're just down in like the general admission. But we did end up finding a really good spot to like the right of the stage. And we were kind of like up on the little second level. And we actually got lucky. We got around a bunch of really nice people that were all just kind of like older and just like chilling. Like a couple people had their kids with them and stuff.
Nice.
So that was cool. So yeah, we kind of like hit the bathroom and then just found our spot and just kind of stayed there the whole time. But what sort of ended up being the coolest part of the show for me, really, which was unexpected, is Manic Hispanic opened the show. And I've definitely heard of them, and I've even heard a few of their songs over the years. And a good buddy of mine out here is
who is in that? Somebody is in that.
I'm not sure. I don't know much about them. But they were fucking awesome. I had never seen them. I had never seen live footage of them. And like I said, my good buddy out here, he's always like,
oh,
dude.
It's somebody from the Voodoo Glow Skulls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's like, dude, I can't believe you never listened to Manic Hispanic. He's like, that shit's like right up your alley. I think you would like love those guys. And, it just goes back to the thing we always talk about. It's too much stuff. You can never like learn about everything. But But dude, they were fucking awesome, and they really turned me into a huge fan from that show. They were super energetic. They sounded really good. So their whole gimmick is they play well-known punk songs, but change the lyrics to be sort of like about Mexican culture or whatever.
That is awesome.
And they all dress like, they all like basically dress up like looking like they're in like suicidal tendencies, essentially.
I'm gonna jump in here and add our little bit. Is a supergroup made up of former or current members of the Adolescents, the Grabbers, Punk Rock Karaoke, the ex-members, 22 Jacks, Final Conflict, Agent Orange, Death by Stereo, and Cadillac Tramps. And I swear to God that one of the dudes was in fucking
Voodoo Glow Skulls.
Voodoo Glow Skulls, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that all makes sense. I wouldn't doubt it. I didn't recognize anybody in the band, but I'm sure.
Steve Soto?
Oh, yeah, that's the dude from the Adolescents, yeah. He passed away a few years ago.
And El Jefe from No Effects started it. So
Okay.
says the Wikipedia.
Yeah, neither El Jefe wasn't there. But yeah, so they have 3 singers. And they had 2 guitar players, bass player, and a drummer. And yeah, dude, they were cool, man. They were like really, I was blown away by them. They were really super fun and entertaining. It was funny. They came out on stage. They were like the 3 singer guys, when they walked down stage, they like had this little like custom built like ice cream cart that they pushed out on stage that had their logos painted on it and shit. But yeah, they did so many songs that you would totally know. Like basically all the like main hit bangers from like all your favorite punk bands, but they just changed the lyrics around.
Which makes me happy.
They did the Rancid song Ruby Soho.
Right.
And they changed it to Rudy Cholo. And yeah, man, there's so many. And then, the next day I ended up researching them a bunch because I wanted to see like what all records they have out and like listen to some more of their music and stuff. And one of their albums is the Descendants record with like the little Milo character.
That's what I'm reading right now.
Yeah, where he's like dressed up like a little cholo guy, and the album is called Mijo Goes to Junior College. So yeah. Anyway, if you've never checked out Manic Hispanic, highly, 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 highly recommend that you stop what you're doing and go listen to them, because they are a good time. They're super fun. But then the Vandals killed it. It was fucking cool, man. They had their whole show was like a fucking rock show. It was crazy. Like the whole stage, how decorated it was with Christmas ornaments. And so the show that we actually saw is someone uploaded it to YouTube the very next day. So you can go and watch the entire show. And it's shot pretty well. Like the quality's not super great, but I mean it's decent enough to like get an idea of what's going on. But yeah, the stage is like completely decorated with Christmas decorations, like tinsel, and they had these like inflatable like Santa Clauses, like there's like all this kind of crazy shit everywhere. And then their backdrop was a giant like Vandals Christmas theme backdrop. They started out the set and I think they played about 7 or 8 of the Christmas songs, sort of like just back to back, like popping them off one by one. And they were all dressed in like Christmas outfits and stuff. And yeah, it was cool. It was really exciting to finally, because I love that Vandals Christmas record. I've always really liked that. And so it was cool to finally see those songs live. And then they got to a point where they were like, okay, you guys want to hear some non-Christmas songs? And like everyone was like, yeah, like cool, whatever. And as soon as he said, like, do you guys want to hear some non-Christmas songs, they had it timed where the Christmas backdrop like released and fell. and it was just their big, like, you know, upside down anarchy logo with the machine gun.
Yeah.
And like they all turned around, they're like, whoa, they're like, that was really cool. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it was like making a joke about that happening or whatever. And then they proceeded to play like another 10 songs of just pretty much every single like banger hit song off of like every record, just like back to back. It was so fucking sick. And then they did like this little weird thing where the guitar player played one of the Christmas songs acoustically, and then he did another acoustic song, and they did this whole spectacle where they played that Queen song that they cover, where he sings, and they turned that into like a whole like rock part of the show where they like went into like doing like drum solo and like all that kind of stuff and like working the crowd. And then they ended with a Christmas song. They did Oi to the World for the last song. But yeah, it was fucking cool, man. That was one of the coolest Christmas time shows I've probably ever been to. And there was fights.
What?
We had 2 fights break out right beside us throughout the evening at different times. There was like right as the show was starting, there was a fight that broke out, and some drunk guy got kicked out before the show even started. So he must have been day drinking and showed up there just fucking acting like a fucking moron. And this dude, like standing like 2 people away from us, was gonna like kick the shit out of this fucking guy. And luckily some fucking security guards came in and kind of like broke it up and kicked that guy out. Because the dude who was going to fight that guy, he was like there with like his kids and shit.
Nice.
And he was basically, you know, like parents with their kids around, they get fucking psycho. So he was going to fucking whip this guy's ass. And then later on, as the show went on, you know, people were probably drinking more and shit. And yeah, Trisha almost got fucking punched. We were like standing right beside each other, and the fight broke out. And how these guys were like grabbing each other and moving around, it like split us in half. And she kind of got like pushed over about like 6-7 people away from me. And I saw these guys like coming, and it was like out of my peripheral. And it was like one of those things. It was like there's nothing I could do. It was like by the time I saw where they were like already there. And basically I like look over and I saw this guy's arm. He like swings his elbow, and it like Matrix style like goes right by her face.
Wow.
And like she seriously probably would have got like knocked the fuck out. Like she would have got elbowed like right in the face.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
And so anyway, she didn't get hit, but it all settled down. So then what was fucked up though, is this fucking guy, he was like fucking wasted, and the other guy was like not wasted and was like trying to like fucking get this guy out of there because he was fucking acting all crazy and being a dick. Right. So the fucking drunk guy who was starting shit, he's like behind us. They had sort of like scuffled like behind us, and then some guy like breaks it up, and the drunk guy like takes off running by us, like trying to hide from security. And then we happen to look over, and there's like 2 kids beside us, like this like 11, 12-year-old girl and like an 8-year-old boy, and they're fucking crying. Yeah, it's like literally the kids of this fucking drunk dude, and they're like upset and crying because like their dad's like fighting somebody. So then this other fucking lady comes over,
ridiculous,
like some mom who's like doesn't even know these kids, and she's like standing with these kids and like trying to console them. And then they eventually, like 5 minutes goes by, and these kids are like beside us crying, like, where's our dad? Like, where's our dad? And this fucking dude who was going to fight this guy points him out to the security guard. So then the security guard comes and grabs him, and he was like literally trying to hide. It's like his fucking kids are like back here like crying and upset, and he's like trying to hide to not get kicked out. Like just like left his kids. Like what a fucking piece of shit. So they like fucking grabbed him and they fucking tossed his ass. And I'm like, so what's going to happen with those kids? They got to like ride home with their fucking drunk piece of shit dad.
Yeah. How the fuck are they getting home?
So that was crazy.
Kids, know your limits and have a backup plan.
It's like, it's Christmas time, everyone's wilding out and like getting hammered and stuff. But it's like, okay, yeah, but like, don't fucking do that with your kids, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, no shit.
But anyway, other than that, the show was fucking awesome, man. It was really, really fucking cool. Like, I'm so happy to be able to say I finally got to go and see those guys do that Christmas show, because it really was. It was magical, I have to say.
Yay!
Yeah, it was cool. Big fan. If you ever get a chance to do it, I highly recommend it.
Well, we would have to be in California. But.
Well, I didn't mean just you. I just mean anybody in general. If you really like the Vandals and you've always wanted to see the Christmas show, I will go on record as saying that it was so much fun. I would recommend traveling to do it. Whoa, I thought it was that good. I would definitely, if I didn't live here, I would definitely travel to see that Christmas show. It was cool.
That's pretty awesome, though. I mean, it sounds phenomenal.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel like it's very rare these days to get turned on to a new band that I'm like really super hyped on. And I can't say enough good things about Manic Hispanic. That was fucking awesome.
I will give them a listen. I will have a little bit of time while we're traveling, I believe, to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And all the band members that you read off totally makes sense now too, because some of their covers are songs from those bands.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because they do a couple Cadillac Tramps covers, so that makes sense. I think there was like one or two bands that were on that list of members that you had just said. I can't recall right now, but yeah.
Yeah, well, that would make total sense. Yeah. That way you don't have to pay for the rights either.
Well, you don't have to pay for the rights. Yeah, you kind of do like a double dip.
Yo, fuck yes.
Yeah, so that's cool.
I know that Tadios added one to our list of perfect albums.
Oh yeah, that is. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was, I swear, like about a day or two after we had that episode, that album totally popped in my head. And then it's funny, I was going to text you about it, and then I forgot. Nice. And then he just sent us that message. Fumble. Yeah, he sent us that message yesterday or whenever that was, and I was like, "Yep." So it was cool that someone else brought it up before we talked about it. But his Beastie Boys "Check Your Head" is definitely a perfect record.
That fucking record was awesome.
Yeah,
I will give you that. So what's funny also is you brought up, I forget, you'd said something earlier, and on the one message board on Facebook. Don't ask me why I'm on Facebook. I started this shit with the podcast, and now I'm on there more regularly than Instagram. But anyway, I belong to like a hardcore group, and the dude was flashing up the Cro-Mags before the Quarrel 12-inch. It actually should have been a 10-inch, but it was showing that, and it was like, these are my jams for the day. And I was like, my son and I argue about that record. And it was funny because I think you'd brought something up about the quality and stuff earlier in the conversation. And I was just like, I posted that. I was like, dude, I'll argue about that with my son, which is funny as shit to even think about, that we're arguing over a record from either 1984, 85, or 86 if you listen to the Profile version. And it's just like, fuck, it's funny that you have a conversation with a bunch of old fucks in the actual arguments between a fucking 22-year-old and yourself. I was certain we were going to get hit with a bunch of other fucking random records that we totally fucking forgot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's like millions of them. But the one thing that discussion really did trigger for me that was kind of cool is just being more critical about knowing, to me, like what records I think are perfect. There's records I thought I would put on my perfect list that when I and obviously different genres and stuff, but there's records that I thought I was going to put on the list, but there might even be like a part of a song on a record that I thought was perfect that to me might be enough to take it off the list. So I've become like really critical about picking records now of like what I would consider perfect records. And I really think Rain and Blood is the benchmark for how I pick what my perfect records are. And yeah, there's stuff I thought was going to make the list that I took off the list.
Yeah. It's funny is like, algorithms are crazy, but I actually saw one with Rick Rubin talking about developing and what he does when he makes a record or he produces a record and stuff. And it's funny, just because I think he made a dig at like movie production. He's like, you can tell when a movie is not made for you and it's made for the masses. Like everything I do for myself. Like if it doesn't sound good to me, it's not.
Yeah.
Like I am who my audience is, and it was like, and I guess there was a dig 2 or 3 weeks ago about the Marvel movies flopping, and somebody their corporate said that there wasn't enough people in there overseeing the product. And it was like, and Rick Rubin came back and basically said the exact opposite. It was like, there's too many fucking hands in the whatever it is. It's like it has to be focused. Art is about you. If you can't produce your art, then nobody's going to like it. And it's really, it was kind of, damn it, he's smart. It was like, fuck you. But then I also saw a thing with Rollins about jumping in and how everybody bitches about bands. And this is like one of our discussions we want to have, but it's when he was saying about, when the punk rock bands all of a sudden started making money and all of a sudden the corporate giant noticed and the corporate giant wanted to be involved. And as soon as corporate giant's involved, then all of a sudden there's somebody else involved. And it was like when the punk rock bands stopped making their punk rock records, that's when you stopped liking them. And I was like, yeah, you're right. It was like, it was one of those like, fuck you, dude. I don't know. I could say that Candy Apple Grey is a fucking awesome album by Husker Du. Like, and that is part of the corporate fucking machine that spit that bitch out. But that album's fucking awesome. I mean, it's weird, and I think.
Well, yeah, like I mean, corporate involvement doesn't always mean that a record isn't going to be awesome, but
I think it depends on who's jammed in that corporate with you. But yeah, it was just kind of funny that we brought it up and had these discussions, and all of a sudden I get 2 clips, and one of Ruben talking about fucking producing records for himself, not anybody else. And then Rollins going, yeah, when you guys stepped in, you fucked it all up. What do you want? Do you want money and be a fucking Of course he did some fucking dig about being on TV. And I'm like, dude, that's you. It was like,
yeah.
But he's not one that bitches about it. So I don't know.
Well, I don't want to get into listing too much stuff, but I can't because I really don't even have that big of a list. Because like I said, I thought it was going to be easy for me to think of lots of perfect records, but I decided that it's really not that easy. But one record, and we've talked about this before, and I kind of ran this record through my, does this still make the cut mindset? And I think it does personally, but I think a perfect record for me anyway is the first Weezer record.
God, fucking record's awesome.
Like to me, that really is like a perfect record as far as catchiness, songwriting, production,
the surf song,
just like the sequencing of the songs, just everything about that.
So I'm thinking Clevenger is not going to agree with you on that.
No, I don't think so either. No, Clevenger will not agree.
So here, I'm going to throw you a weird one. and this is not one I was planning on, but I kept thinking about like records when I was a kid because I bought, like, I think my record collection, when I started collecting records, like it was shit that my aunts and uncles listened to, and I wanted my own copy of them. Well, and a lot of them were best ofs, and not realizing they were best ofs, but they were.
Mm-hmm.
One that was not, and one that I just looked through the fucking track list, and it's a fucking banger the whole way through, and I cannot believe I'm going to fucking say this out loud. But Back in Black is a fucking solid fucking album from the word fucking go.
I can't agree or disagree because I'm hard pressed to think of what all's on there. So
dude, you look it up, and that fucking track list, that you can run that album, and it's fucking banger after banger after banger, and it was all good. Now, do I listen to AC/DC anymore? No, I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to. I own that record. I'll have to.
You fucking look and you come back and tell me, because there was not, and a lot of the songs I like weren't the fucking the singles off of it. I mean, but it was like, I think it's 8 songs of fucking knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
Ooh, curveball. You weren't ready for that shit, were you?
No, I wasn't at all. Yeah, that. I mean, I'm not saying that I disagree. I just, that was, definitely a curveball for me. I wasn't expecting to hear that. The last one I'm going to add to the list for today is Metallica Master of Puppets.
Oh, see? I can't believe that one slid so far. Like, yeah, you're probably right. I don't want to, just because I have just this low level dislike.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a bonus one in.
Don't you say anything past fucking that though. All right, go ahead.
I'm throwing in a bonus choice, and this will ruffle some feathers, I'm sure. But I don't care. I'm claiming it right now as being a perfect record. Like, maybe whether you like them or not is irrelevant.
Oh, my eyes are already rolling.
Is definitely probably one of the most perfect records as far as original sound, heaviness, production, right place at the right time, song order, just like, honestly, like everything about it. There's not a hold on.
You just talked yourself out of it. That is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, okay. Because
as you were selling it, you just unbought it.
Yeah, well, but like I said, my criteria has increased for what makes something perfect. And I think that this falls in line with something you said on the last episode, where like Motley Crue ruined, even though you still think the Sex Pistols record is perfect, Motley Crue ruined Anarchy in the UK, so it's like maybe like harder to get through that song. And this record I was going to say has a song like that. And if that song wasn't so like overblown and kind of obnoxious, it would be perfect. But I was going to say Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. and my reason
Rod
for
Smith
sort of
will tell you that was the best bass sounding album of its day.
Yeah, I mean, the production on that record's insane. It really is amazing. But I'll say that for me, the one thing as I was talking and it popped in my head, the one thing that takes that record down a notch from being perfect is I never even really liked it back in the day, and I still kind of don't. But the fucking guitar lick from Sweet Child O' Mine like fucking pisses me off.
I think you have to know it has to go out with that. Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
So like that, if that riff is not on that record, I would say that record's perfect. But and I don't hate that song. That song's okay. But I don't know. That one for me is like makes it a little tough to put it in my new perfect category.
No, I think you're right.
Because when that song comes on, I get a little bit of a cringe factor. I'll still listen to it, but I'm like, oh, the fucking riff that like everybody fucking plays, and it's like not that good anyway. Yeah. So that one, and again, for me, it's like I said on the last episode, what albums can I listen to from front to back? And it, like, I never break the meditation was the phrase that I used. Right. And for me, yeah, Appetite for Destruction, Sweet Child of Mine comes on. I get a few seconds of cringe.
Oh my God, that's so fucking funny.
So it can't be perfect.
No, it can't be.
I did think of one last final perfect record, which is this is in the category of it's a perfect record to me, probably not to like more larger audience, maybe Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry.
I'm not going to argue that. I still love that record.
Yeah. There's not a bad song on that. Honestly, just again, it fits all the criteria for me. The production, the songs, the order of the songs, just the appeal it had. You
can still listen to it now and not get turned off.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Oh my God, I'm not going to argue. I'll let that one stay.
Yeah.
I'll let somebody else will have to come knock it down, but I will let it stay.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll be back at you soon with some other things to chat about. We have a bunch of new ideas, topics that we're gonna hit you with, so be ready.
I gotta figure out my sound effects board.
Oh yeah,
we're coming.
We got some sound effects coming. We're gonna 2024. We're increasing the level of awesomeness at the podcast.
On that, adios, motherfuckers.
Later.
This podcast was brought to you by Potty Mouth Records. Contact us at pottymouthrecords@gmail.com and find us on the web at pottymouthrecords.rocks. That's .rocks.
That was way better than I think. POTTYCAST. Podcast. Ta-da!